Hi everybody, it's wonderful to be back with you again for another story and a writing prompt. So today's story is one of my favorites, and I think it's because it's a story about a principal of an elementary school. And you know what? There just aren't a lot of stories about principals these days. So maybe that's why this is one of my favorites. It's also a little bit funny and has great illustrations. It's called A Fine, Fine School. It's written by Sharon Creech. The pictures are by Harry Bliss. A Fine, Fine School. Mr. Keene was a principal who loved his school. Every morning he strolled down the hallways and saw the children in their classes. He saw them learning shapes and colors and numbers and letters. He saw them reading and writing and drawing and painting. He saw them making dinosaurs and forts and pyramids. Oh, he would say, aren't these fine children? Aren't these fine teachers? Isn't this a fine, fine school? And look at them all learning. Near Mr. Keene's school, Tilly lived with her parents and her brothers and her dog, Beans, in a small house next to a big tree. On Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, Tilly went off to school. It looks like she rides the bus. At school, Tilly learned her shapes and colors and numbers and letters, and sometimes when she saw Mr. Keene standing in the hallway, he waved. Aren't these fine children? He said to himself. Aren't these fine teachers? Isn't this a fine, fine school? On the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, Tilly climbed her favorite tree. I'm stuck, get help. She took Beans on walks and threw him sticks. He's not cooperating. Let go now, Beans. She pushed her brother on a swing and tried to teach him how to skip. He's thinking, be one with the skip. Really concentrating on it. But on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, Tilly went off to school. Beans and her brother did not like to see her go. Hurry, hurry, hurry home, her brother called. One day, Mr. Keene called all of the students and the teachers together and said, this is such a fine, fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school. From now on, let's have school on Saturdays too. The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on Saturdays, but no one knew how to tell Mr. Keene that. He was so proud of the children and the teachers and of all the learning they were doing every day. Saturday school. And so that Saturday, Tilly set off for school. But it's Saturday. What about the swings? Her brother called. The following month, Mr. Keene announced, this is such a fine, fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school. From now on, let's have school on Sundays too. The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on Sundays, but no one knew how to tell Mr. Keene that. He was so proud of the children and the teachers, of all the learning they were doing every day. So here in the cafeteria, he's put a sign that says, why not study while you chew? He really wants them learning. And so that Sunday, Tilly set off for school. But it's Sunday. What about skipping? Her brother called. The following month, Mr. Keene called everyone together and said, this is such a fine, fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school. From now on, let's have school on holidays too. On Easter and Ramadan and Thanksgiving and Christmas and Hanukkah. On all of the holidays on every calendar. The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on holidays, but no one knew how to tell Mr. Keene that. He was so proud of the children and of the teachers and of all the learning they were doing every day. Oh boy, look at their faces. She's got a button that says, say yes to school, but she does not look very happy about putting it on. He's got a little flag that says, "More school is way cool." He's happy. Well, so on Christmas, Tilly set off for school. "But it's Christmas. What about Christmas?" her brother called. And here on the television it says the best cartoons in the world start in 5 minutes. But she needs to go to school. The following month, Mr. Keene called everyone together and said, "This is such a fine, fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school. From now on, let's have school in the summer too, all summer long, every single day." Look at this pie graph. The whole thing is going to school, and there's a little bit of time at home sleeping. Summer schedule. June is science month. July is big word month. "How much will we learn?" he said. "We can learn everything. We will learn about numbers and letters and colors and shapes, the Romans and the Egyptians and the Greeks. We will learn about dinosaurs and castles and everything. We will learn everything." The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on Saturdays and Sundays and holidays and all summer long, every single day. But no one knew how to tell Mr. Keene that. He was so proud of the children and of the teachers and of all of the learning they were doing every day. Look at their expressions of all of the kids. They are not happy. Mr. Keene's happy. They are not. And so, on the first day of summer, Tilly set off for school. "But it's summer. What about summer?" her brother called. Look at that. The dog is a lifeguard. "Huge test tomorrow. Big test tomorrow. Lunch test on July 4th. And so that day, Tilly went to see Mr. Keene. She stood in his office in front of his desk. "What a fine, fine school this is," Mr. Keene said. "What amazing things everyone is learning." "Yes," said Tilly, "we certainly are learning some amazing things." "A fine, fine school," Mr. Keene said. "But," Tilly said, "not everyone is learning." "What?" Mr. Keene said. He looked very worried. Who is not learning? Tell me, and I will see that they learn." "My dog Beans hasn't learned how to sit," Tilly said, "and he hasn't learned how to jump over the creek." "Oh," Mr. Keene said. "And my little brother hasn't learned how to swing or skip." "Oh," Mr. Keene said. "Wrong way, Beans." "And I," she said. "But you go to school," Mr. Keene said, "to our fine, fine school." "True," Tilly said, "but I haven't learned how to climb very high in my tree, and I haven't learned how to sit in my tree for a whole hour." "Oh," Mr. Keene said. That day, Mr. Keene walked up and down the halls, looking at the children and of the teachers. Up and down he walked, up and down, up and down. Look, the kids are brushing their teeth at school. Here's a note inside of a locker that says, "We miss you, son." Mom and Dad. Look at the books they're carrying. Pencils, 10,000 count. Oh, they are all working very hard. The next morning, Mr. Keene called everyone together. The children and the teachers were very worried. Mr. Keene said, "This is a fine, fine school with fine, fine children and fine, fine teachers, but not everyone is learning." The teachers and the children were very, very worried. Mr. Keene said, "There are dogs who need to learn how to sit and how to jump creeks." What did he mean? Was he going to make the dogs come to school too? There are little brothers and sisters who need to learn how to swing and how to skip. What did he mean? Was he going to make their younger brothers and sisters come to school too? The children and the teachers were very, very worried. And you, all of you, children and teachers, you need to learn how to climb a tree and to sit in it for 1 hour, Mr. Keene said. The children and the teachers were very worried. Look at their worried faces. And so from now on, We will, oh, even the teachers are worried. From now on, we will not have school on Saturdays or Sundays or holidays or in the summer. A huge, enormous roaring cheer soared up to the ceiling and floated out the windows so that everyone in the town heard the fine, fine children and the fine, fine teachers shout, fine, fine, fine. She's got a sign. You gotta love it. And the fine, fine children and the fine, fine teachers lifted Mr. Keene up, and they carried him down the hallway and out the doors and through the town, up and down, in and out. And everywhere they went, the people said, what a fine, fine school, with such fine, fine teachers and fine, fine children, and a fine, fine principal. And that's the story of a fine, fine school. So Mr. Keene loved his school so much that he decided he wanted to have more school. And he got to make those decisions, I guess, because he was the principal. So I'm wondering, if you were the principal of our school, or of any school, what kind of changes would you make? What kind of rules would you have? What would you have the teachers do, or the kids do? That might be a really fun story to write. If you were the principal of a school, a fine, fine school, what kind of changes would you make? What would you do? All right, have fun writing your own story about a fine, fine school. Maybe it's Glencairn School. Have a great day full of fun, learning, and writing. And we'll see you later. Bye.